let's do this problem. And it asks whether these two triangles that you see here are congruent to each other. So in the last video we talked about side, side, side. Let me write that up here. And we have to look whether we can do this by quoting this theorem. We have one side here that's congruent in both of those triangles. We have this side that's part of this triangle and part of that triangle. So definitely this side is congruent to itself. So we basically have two sides. These two are equal, and this is one side, one line segment, but it definitely is a side of this triangle and a side of that. So if you want to say that there's really two sides, you could think of it in that way, that this side is congruent to this side. You have two. The question is, are these two sides congruent? There's no tick mark on there. There's no little two lines and two lines, so we can't assume that. So we might have to use something else. These little arcs that are here are showing that this angle is congruent to this one. So basically, when you're looking at this, you have a side that is congruent to this side, so that's why you have this. One side is congruent. This side is definitely congruent to itself. That's this S. But you can't get this other S. This angle will come into play. This angle is definitely equal to this angle. And if you see, this is the second theorem that you learn. Side, angle, and another side. Side, angle, and another side. So these two triangles are definitely congruent to each other. We just got to be careful with how we write it so that people will know exactly what we're trying to say. So let's start off with first saying we are proving that these two triangles are congruent by side, angle, side. And the two triangles, let's write the first one, A, B, C, triangle ABC is congruent to, and we have to look to make sure that we take this in the same order. A, B, C, we have to make sure that it's triangle D, B, C. Just to make sure that the order is the same. We could have named this ACB, triangle ACB, but then we'd have to be careful on the other side to name it. We went A to C to B. We're going to do D to C to B. So the order doesn't matter. Whichever one you start with, you have to make sure that you pattern it on the other side to make sure that you're keeping the information here that somebody looking at this could say, oh, I know what sides are congruent to each other just by looking at the way that this is written.